Welcome to Stopwatch Explain. If you are here for the first time, please consider subscribing to this channel. Also, hit the notification bell so that whenever you upload a new video, you're notified. In this video, we'll be talking about SGR extension to Malaba, where the funding model has been revised to ease physical pressure and accelerate completion. Kenya has officially revised the funding model for the long-awaited standard gauge railway SGR extension from Naivasha to Malaba. This marks a major shift from the earlier model that heavily relied on state funding and Chinese concessional loans. This revised approach reflects both urgency of completing the infrastructure link to Uganda and the need to ease the financial burden of the country debt. The extension, which spans approximately 475 kilometers, is projected to cost between Kenya shillings 580 billion and Kenya shillings 706 billion Kenya shillings, which is roughly between 4.5 and 5.3 billion US dollars. These are part of Kenya's broader strategy to enhance regional trade and improve efficiency of the freight and passenger transport to the northern corridor and beyond. The route is expected to connect Naivasha to Kisumu, then continue to Malaba and Kenya, which is on the Kenya-Ugandan border, aligning with Uganda's own rail modernization plan. Let's look at this new funding model. The revised financing model is now split into three key components, combining domestic funding, concessional loaning, as well as private sector participation. There will be 30% contribution by the Kenyan government. This again is not the final position. Still, the Kenyan government is negotiating with the Chinese government to take up the whole session without Kenya providing any. So initially, this was supposed to come from railway development levy, but the Kenyan government requested the Chinese government to take up the whole amount. There is concession financing from the Chinese government, which is taking the huge chunk, and then there is 40%, which will be through commercial private public partnership, which is one of the notable changes in this commercial funding segment, and this will be provided by consortium of Chinese and Kenyan banks as well as investors who will enter a PPP arrangement. In return, they will have granted, they will have a concession agreement to operate, maintain, as well as collect for revenue from the railway for a defined period, which is expected to range between 20 to 25 years, or even go to 30 years. These structures mirrors global infrastructure funding trend, where private capital is used to fast-track delivery while minimizing direct government debt exposure. But we'll be looking to see how this goes, given that these are public facility, and it's quite challenging to get private sector to finance railway construction. Then there's a national financing model, which will be for supplementation. Kenya is preparing to float a Panda Bond, which will be dominated in Chinese currency, which targets Chinese investors. This move is designed to tap the Chinese capital market, potentially raising up to USD 1.5 billion. This would serve either as part of the government share or as a hedge against any financial shortfall. Kenya has also explored alternative bilateral sources, including potential infrastructure financing from the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Though these discussions are in the preliminary stages, they are not yet finalized, and they are not yet made public. The revision in this funding model comes after Kenya experienced mounting physical pressure and delays in securing previous financing, which were through traditional bilateral loan model. The Treasury has been cautious about adding to Kenya's external debt stock, which is spiraling, particularly during this recovery period and ongoing IMF-backed fiscal reforms. By spreading the financial responsibility across multiple sources, including private investors, Kenya is aiming at reducing reliance on direct government borrowing while maintaining control over the strategic transport infrastructure. This model also introduces performance incentives through private operations, which may help improve service quality and efficiency in the long run. The construction, let's now look at the project status and the next steps. Construction of this Naivasha Malaba SGR extension is expected to start later this year or even early 2026. This depends on when the financial closure will be made. Feasibility studies and the land acquisition processes are already continuing, and some other works related to site planning have also started. This extension is not only vital for domestic logistics but also for regional integration, particularly as Uganda plans to build its own SGR line from Malaba to Kampala City, with the potential further extension to Rwanda and South Sudan. The completion of Kenya segment will therefore have significant cross-border economic implications. In summary, you can say that Kenya revised funding model for Naivasha Malaba SGR extension reflects a practical approach to infrastructure development, one that balances physical discipline with the urgency of completing a critical transport corridor. By adopting a mixed financing model involving the government, the Chinese investors, or even private sectors, if all goes well, Kenya has increased the likelihood of timely project execution while reducing the strain on public finances. This model, if successful, could serve as a blueprint for future large-scale infrastructure projects in the region, where capital needs are high but borrowing capacity is increasing constrained. So thank you for reaching this far. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Also hit the notification bell so that whenever you upload a new video, you are notified. Thank you.